Hey Sharon, what's going on? Oh, you're doing the puzzle again? What is this, like the 35th puzzle we've done? This one's of Chicago, by the way. It's really complex and difficult, but we like the hard ones. So, anyways, have you heard the news that Prince of Peace is actually going to start worship again?
Yes.
You've heard that? Okay. So, in order to do that, I mean, I went through all the procedures that Pastor John sent out. I looked at them very closely. But the first thing we have to do is we have to register for worship. Now, I know that sounds strange, but you know why we're registering for worship?
No. Why?
So that we can practice appropriate social distancing. So our sanctuary, I don't know if you know this or not, members of the Prince of Peace, sits about 425. So at 100, we're going to be at that nice 25% level of social distancing. But it means that everybody the week before should register for either the 5:30 on Saturday night, 5:30 p.m., or the 11 a.m. service on Sunday morning. So you do that earlier in the week, and then we know we're ready to receive you when you come to church. So I was wondering, Sharon, if you could go now and register us for worship at Prince of Peace this weekend. I know it's only Thursday, but this way we'll be ready to go. Would you be willing to register for church for us? Yes?
Sure.
Then why don't you go register, and I'll continue to greet the people, okay? And are you going to register me and you, or just you?
Just me.
She's just registering herself. Can you believe that? So anyway, that's the first step. You're going to register for worship, as my lovely wife is doing right now, and then on the day of, that's where we'll be next. Well, finally, we're on our way to church. I can't hardly believe it because it's been so long. It's been too long since we've had a chance to gather for worship. But today is finally the day. And I can't give you the exact date because we haven't decided that yet. We're looking at August, but watch your Sheltering in Peace and our announcements. We'll give you the exact date. But when you're watching this video, you know that I'm excited that we're finally going to get to go to church. So we're driving from our house. By the way, sometimes we walk because it's close, but today we're driving. So we're going to go along here, and I have to say I'm excited about the church reopening, but there's a part of me that's also a little nervous because I want to keep everybody as safe as possible, and I just also am a little nervous about the way people are going to react. So I hope that everybody has a good spirit about it, and like me, they want to join together, but they also want to keep people as safe as well. So we're on our way here, and both Sharon and I feel good today. We took our temperatures earlier. We both are fine. I was actually 97.3, so a little lower than I should have been. So, but I'm a cool cucumber, so that's why. But we're both feeling well today. None of us have a cough or anything like that. So we're excited. We're ready to go. The last thing we did before we left our house was to make sure that we had our masks. So we both have our masks and we're ready to go. So here we come. It's the first time in many, many months since we've been able to go to church. I can't wait to hear Pastor John's sermon because he's really good. So I just know I'll be really excited about that, and get to see Jeremy's feet on the organ pipes, and I mean on the organ pedals, so it'll be really fun. So here we go. I'm pulling into church. We're actually early, which is shocking because Sharon's not usually early to anything, but today she is because she's riding right there and she's with me. She's being very quiet, but she's there. So I'm pulling into a space, and I notice the church doors are propped open because I asked them to be sure to do that. So they're propped open, so nobody has to handle the door. So I'm getting out of my car, but what I'm going to do before I actually go into church is I'm going to put on my mask. So I've got my mask here, so I'm putting it on, and now you won't be able to see my smile, but I'm very happy to finally be back at church. All right, let's go. All right, here we go to church. It's a beautiful sunny day, as it always is in Dublin. We're going to head into church now. And as I pointed out when I first pulled in, the doors are propped open. That's intentional so that everybody does not have to touch anything. You can just walk in. So we're walking into church. So here we are. There's a couple things I want you to notice. Unfortunately, initially, we won't be having the Pops Cafe or coffee or anything, just to avoid people getting too close or spreading the virus. So the Fellowship Hall and Kitchen, unfortunately, at least initially, will be closed. Throughout the church, we have also posted a reminder of our procedures, just to remind everyone that this is the way we're doing things now, at least for a bit. So if you need help remembering those, they're posted throughout the church. I'm going to now go to the hand sanitizing station. So I'm going to put hand sanitizer on as I'm coming into church. Oh, I see some people there. Oh, the Sherpelses are planted there. So hi, Ken and Martha. We see them then there. Oh, the Joes are there too. They left their dog at home this time, the speaking dog, the talking dog, but I see them down there too. So we're going to walk this way. There will be somebody here to help. We're calling them a safety monitor, a greeter, but basically they'll be here at the station just in case anybody has questions about what's going on. But there's also some things here that might be helpful to you. First of all, if someone in the family forgot their mask, we have disposable masks here. So we do ask that someone come in and get the mask and run it out to them, but those will be available here. There are some people in our community that aren't able to wear a mask. They might have a health condition or something else, so that's what this is for. You can put this on, and then people will know that you're not wearing a mask on purpose. You're not doing it to be obnoxious or anything like that, but this way they will know that you're not wearing a mask. So that's here. And also, let's say that you don't feel well. You felt well when you left home, by the time you get here, you wonder if something's going on. Our monitor will have a little temperature gauge here. So they can simply take your temperature, 98.4, such a deal. So they can do that for you well, just to help. Okay, so if I need anything here, I can get that. We're going to walk in this way. Again, we have the hand sanitizing station here. So if you need to use that, feel free. But each Sunday morning, we'll have a table set up here similar to this. It's not exactly this one. But at this table, then you can pick up your bulletin for the worship service. They'll be stacked here. You can also pick up your communion. This is a little weird, and it goes against everything I was ever taught in seminary or that I wanted to do, but they're little communion packets. And there's grape juice in the bottom, and there's a wafer on top. And we'll use this so we don't have to be touching and distributing the communion, so we can still have the Lord's body and blood, but at the same time be safe. So pick up a communion packet, pick up a bulletin. If you are gluten-free, there's also a gluten-free wafer and juice here as well. So if you're gluten-free, you simply can grab that. So we're going into the sanctuary here. Make our way in. I forgot to turn the light on, so I did that. And you can see I'm going to sit over on this side. I'm going to sit a little towards the front because I love Pastor John's sermon and being really close when he's preaching. So I'm going to make sure I do that. But as I walk my way up here, I notice this is a pew people can sit in, but we're asking you to be on either side of the tape. So a family unit could sit here or go around on the other side, all right? This pew is off limits because we want to separate people. So we're going down here, and I think I'm going to park in this pew right here, right in front of the pulpit. So when I go into my pew, and you go into yours, you can put your communion vessel there on top of your bulletin and set it down. And then, even though everybody's cleaning, this is just sort of an extra clean. I've talked about it like if you think about gym equipment, if you're using it, you need to clean it off. So I've got my hand sanitizing towel here, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to wipe down this rail in front, just like that. If I want to wipe off the seat, I can, just to make sure, although everybody's doing this and we'll clean in between. But anywhere I might be touching, I can sort of wipe off. Okay? That way I'll make sure that we're ready to go and we're not spreading any germs. When I'm done with this then, I can simply pop it into the trash can there that's provided, and now I'm ready for worship. Okay, I have everything now that I need for worship. I have my bulletin. This has the readings, it has all the hymns, it has everything that I need. I have my communion cup with the wafer on top. You also noticed that as I came through the narthex, I made sure not to get too close to anybody. We want to keep that 6 feet of distance. And it's the same in here. There's at least 6 feet between me and anyone else. So that's important to keep us all safe. So I'm ready for worship. I will be singing. I'll be standing. I can sing through the mask, although I probably don't want to do my normal full-throated pastor singing, but I can sing a little bit through the mask, and others will be singing as well, and we'll just follow the organ at that time. So I'll be here. I'll be worshiping here. During the worship service, you might notice one of our staff members get up and take a picture. And you've registered for worship, as we talked about when we were at my house. And this is in case we would need to do contact tracing, then we can look at who was here, who signed up, and let you know what's going on. So sometime during the worship service, you will see somebody taking a picture. When it's time to share the peace, I want to show you what we're going to be doing there. When it's time to share the peace, we're simply going to be bowing to one another and gesturing. So when Pastor John or Pastor Jim says, "The peace of the Lord be with you and also with you," then we will simply bow to one another. I also invite you to do this with your family, not because I don't want you to hug or kiss your family members, but you're also modeling behavior for children or others who are watching. That in church, we're going to reverence each other and share the peace, but we're not actually going to touch during that time. Let me see what else I need to welcome. Oh, your hands are free throughout worship if you want to applaud for the sermon. How about that, huh? There's no end to the applause you can give us during worship, so your hand should be free in order to do that. I do want to remind you that although some people like to use the sermon time as a time to go to the bathroom so they really don't have to listen to the sermon, and I see you, so I know who you are. But the truth is, we're inviting you not to use the restroom here at Prince of Peace unless it's an absolute emergency. The services will be about 45 to 50 minutes because we won't be coming up for communion. So I think everybody can go before they come and then hopefully save it until you get home. If it's an emergency, certainly you can use our restrooms, and then you simply register there that you did that, so we'll know to do an extra cleaning of that. And also, if you have a child who has to use the restroom, you're going to need to go with them and make sure that they wash their hands thoroughly, that they let us know that they also use the restroom at our church. So that's restroom use in the congregation. I did the peace, and now I want to talk a little bit about communion. I pointed out that this is an odd little thing that some denominations actually use on a regular basis. It's not what I prefer, but during this pandemic, it's what we're going to do. So we'll do the communion liturgy as we usually do. We do the Lord's Prayer, and then Pastor John or Pastor Jim will have you seated for the reception of communion. And the first thing that I will say from the altar is the body of Christ given for you. When I say that, what you're going to do is you're going to take your little packet and you're going to peel back the top. Now, it's a little bit awkward. In fact, I'm having a little bit of difficulty here with it. But you're going to peel back the top, and there's two sections. In the bottom section is grape juice, and in the top section is the wafer. Of course, I picked one here that I'm having trouble with. But basically, you peel it back, and inside there is a wafer. There, I did it. So there's a wafer here, so then you commune, and obviously you have to slip your mask off to commune. But we want you to stay seated. You'll commune, so pull your mask down, the body of Christ given from you. I'll wait for people to have a second to get out the host. Then I ingest the host, eat the host, and I can put the paper, the foil wrap, into the waste paper trash can. Yeah, we all know what it's called. So you have the host, and then after I see everybody's done with that, I will say the blood of Christ shed for you from the altar, and you can pick up your little cup of grape juice, and then you can deposit the extras in here. When that's done, then we'll put our mask back on, and we'll continue with the liturgy, which at this point we'll have sort of a closing Eucharistic prayer that we don't normally have, but in this setting, I think it'll be nice to have that. So we'll do that, and then worship will complete with a rousing hymn, and then we'll be ready to leave our pews. All right, our service is concluded. We said, go in peace, serve the Lord. Please know that neither Pastor Jim or I will be greeting you afterwards. Obviously, we're trying to keep socially distant. Some of you may want to remain for a little while to pray. That's absolutely fine. But as you leave, we actually, again, maintain that social distance to the best of your ability as you go. I'm going to take my bulletin with me. We do not want them left here. If you want to leave them here, you can put them in the can and we will recycle them. But otherwise, you want to take it home for a devotion, and that's what I'm going to do. So before I leave, like when I came in, I'm going to grab a disinfectant wipe, and I'm going to try this time to make sure anything that I touch. So I know I touched this because I stood up with it, and then just this rail here. And I think I'll even just do the back of this because I know I was sitting there. I mean, hopefully nothing came off of my clothes, but just in case, give it a good once over there. Okay. And probably just one person per family can do that. And then there's a trash can there. And now I'm going to watch to make sure that I can socially distance, I can wave at people, but I'm maintaining that distance. I'm keeping my mask on. And as I walk out, I'm going to walk by this way. Either before or after the service, I do have my offering with me, or you can give online, whatever works best for you. But if you brought your offering for the day, we have offering plates here at the rear of the sanctuary, so you can simply drop it in there as you go, either on the way in or on the way out. You'll notice there hasn't been any ushers. There's been no acolytes. There's been no readers. We've tried to eliminate all that to keep people as safe as possible. So I'm going to walk out this door, and there's a sign here that invites you to leave by these doors. Rather than touching the door, I'm going to use the famous hip bump, okay? So I'm just bumping it, that way I'm not touching anything with my hands, all right? And you can even prop, it props just by pushing it. So if people are coming out, you can prop it, and then we'll just simply make our way to our cars. Worship will have concluded, and we will all be inspired and enriched by the sermon and the beautiful music, and we'll all be safe. Okay, I am safely back in the car now. I have my bulletin for the week, or devotions, and now I can take my mask off. The good thing is I made it. It was different for me. I've never worshiped before with a mask on, so that part was really strange. It was hard not being closer to people to talk to them, but the good news is if we all do this together, we'll all stay safe, and then when this virus has passed and there's a vaccine, we'll be able to gather again. So the good news is, even though it was different, even though some of it was new to me, I survived. You can too. And together, we can keep one another safe and get through this virus. Thank you for watching these instructions, and I cannot wait until we gather for worship.